Patience, a timeless virtue celebrated across cultures, takes on profound significance in Buddhism. While it's easy to be patient when life is smooth, the true test of patience emerges during adversity. Whether it's facing life's inevitable challenges or dealing with difficult people, patience is both a challenge and a gift. For many of us, it's much easier to talk about patience than actually practice it. However, as difficult as it may seem, practicing patience can lead to deeper happiness, calmness, and peace in life. In this exploration of Buddhist teachings, we will delve into how to cultivate patience, not only through philosophy but through concrete practices. Patience as the greatest virtue in Buddhism. In Buddhism, patience is considered one of the greatest virtues. Buddha emphasized this in the Dhammapada, verse 84, stating, "Patience is the highest virtue." This perspective elevates patience to the level of supreme qualities, surpassing even other spiritual practices in its significance. However, patience in Buddhism is more than mere endurance. It is an inner transformation, a conscious choice to endure difficulties, discomforts, and challenges with grace and understanding. Patience manifests in various forms, enduring the natural elements like cold, heat, hunger, or the sting of criticism from others. The ability to endure without reacting negatively, even when provoked, is what distinguishes true patience from mere passivity. The reality of patience. Let's face it, patience is hard. Whether it's waiting in a long line, facing criticism at work, or dealing with personal hardships, our instinct is often to react, get angry, or retaliate. In Buddhism, patience isn't about suppressing those feelings but transforming them. Buddha acknowledged the difficulties involved but insisted that despite the challenges, patience is a quality worth cultivating. It's natural to find ourselves struggling with patience, especially in today's fast-paced world where everything seems immediate and frustration lurks around every corner. However, it's important to remember that even though patience is difficult, its rewards are profound. When we practice patience, we're not just holding back our anger or irritation. We're actively nurturing qualities of peace and resilience. True patience versus fear-induced patience. One critical distinction that Buddhism makes is between real patience and patience born out of fear. Many people might mistake silence or passive behavior as patience. However, true patience in Buddhism comes from a place of inner strength and understanding, not from fear or helplessness. Someone might appear patient because they have no other option. They lack power or authority to act otherwise. But this is not the patience Buddha taught. Real patience comes from recognizing that we have the strength to act but choosing not to harm others. Buddha describes real patience as the ability of a strong person to endure a weaker one, and this endurance is seen as supreme patience. It requires self-control, understanding, and a deep belief in the value of peace over conflict. Recognizing the inner beast, anger. Anger is often seen as the beast within us that we must tame to practice true patience. Buddha taught that we should not fear this beast, but instead recognize it and choose to control it. The moment we allow anger to dictate our actions, we lose control of ourselves. But when we consciously decide not to let anger govern our actions, we practice true patience. This act of restraint is not a sign of weakness, but rather one of immense strength. Imagine a scenario where someone insults you. The natural response is to feel anger, to want to retaliate. However, practicing patience means recognizing that while you may feel anger, you don't need to act on it. This requires dedication and sometimes involves enduring hardship, but in the end, it brings a sense of inner peace and accomplishment. The path to practicing patience. Buddhism offers a unique path to cultivating patience, which starts with a deeper understanding of life through the lens of the three marks of existence: impermanence, anicca, suffering, dukkha, and non-self, anatta. Let's break these down. 1. Impermanence. Anicca, everything in life is subject to change. No matter how hard we try to hold on to things, whether they are material possessions, relationships, or emotions, nothing lasts forever. When we understand this fundamental truth, we can begin to let go of our anger more easily. For example, if someone says something hurtful to you, those words are already impermanent. They are fleeting moments in time. The problem arises when we replay those words in our minds, fueling our anger. However, If we accept that those words have already passed, we can let go of them and move on. Think about the last time you were angry because someone said something mean to you. How long did you hold on to that anger? Hours? Days? Maybe even weeks? The truth is, those words were gone the moment they were spoken, but our mind tends to hold on to them, recreating the hurt and extending our suffering. Once we understand impermanence, we can start to release our attachment to the negative emotions that come with those experiences. 2. Suffering. Dukkha life is inherently filled with suffering. This isn't meant to be a pessimistic view of life, but rather a realistic one. Pain and suffering are unavoidable parts of existence. When we accept this truth, we stop fighting against it and instead learn to cope with life's difficulties. Suffering, whether physical or emotional, becomes more bearable when we stop seeing it as something that should not be happening and instead see it as a natural part of life. For instance, when we face a difficult situation at work or a painful argument with a loved one, our initial reaction might be to resist it, thinking, "This shouldn't be happening to me." But the truth is, suffering is an integral part of life. When we stop resisting, we can begin to face these challenges with more patience and resilience. 3. Non-self. Anatta. Not everything is within our control. We often think that we can control our lives, but the reality is, much of what happens is beyond our influence. Once we grasp this truth, it becomes easier to let go of frustration and anger. When things don't go our way, or when people act in ways that upset us, understanding that we cannot control everything allows us to release the need to react negatively. Imagine a time when you were frustrated because something didn't go the way you wanted. Perhaps you were planning a trip, and it was canceled due to bad weather. Instead of being consumed by frustration, if you understand that not everything is within your control, you can accept the situation and move forward without unnecessary suffering. Applying patience in everyday life. It's one thing to understand these teachings intellectually, but it's another to apply them in our daily lives. Let's explore some practical examples of how to incorporate patience. In relationships, patience is crucial in maintaining healthy relationships, whether it's with a partner, family member, or friend. When disagreements arise, instead of reacting immediately, take a step back. Recognize that your feelings, and those of the other person, are temporary and that the argument will pass. This allows you to respond with kindness and understanding rather than anger. In the workplace, patience can be challenging in a stressful work environment, especially when dealing with difficult colleagues or overwhelming tasks. Instead of letting frustration build, remind yourself that challenges at work are inevitable, and not everything will go according to plan. By practicing patience, you can maintain a clear mind, make better decisions, and cultivate a more harmonious workplace. In personal growth, we often become impatient with ourselves when we don't meet our own expectations. Whether it's learning a new skill or trying to break a bad habit, progress takes time. By practicing patience with yourself, you allow for growth without the added pressure of unrealistic timelines. The ultimate lesson. In conclusion, patience is not just about waiting passively for situations to change or improve. It's about actively choosing to endure difficulties with grace, understanding, and compassion. Through the lens of Buddhism, patience becomes a transformative practice that can change the way we experience life. By embracing the 3 marks of existence, impermanence, suffering, and non-self, we can develop a deeper understanding of life's challenges and cultivate the patience to navigate them with wisdom. As we practice patience, we learn to let go of anger, frustration, and the need for control. We open ourselves up to peace, kindness, and ultimately, happiness. So next time you find yourself in a difficult situation, remember the teachings of Buddha. Recognize the impermanence of the moment, accept the suffering as part of life, and release the desire to control everything. In doing so, you will discover the true power of patience. The practice of patience is a lifelong journey, filled with moments of challenge and growth. It's not always easy, but the rewards are immense. By incorporating Buddhist teachings into our lives, we can transform our understanding of patience from a passive act of waiting to an active process of self-mastery. Whether you are facing a difficult situation or simply trying to improve your relationships, patience is a skill that will serve you well in all aspects of life. Keep practicing, keep growing, and you will find that patience.